Hello and welcome to another edition of Sports Talk. It is August 12th. We reached August 12th already. My goodness. I'm Daniel Blake. Thank you so much for joining me today. We'll be focusing on the Reggae Girlz again. I know a lot of you might be saying Reggae Girlz again, but what the Reggae Girlz have done is a historic achievement. Unfortunately, earlier this week, they weren't able to get by Colombia, going down 1-0 in the round of 16. But nonetheless, it was the first time ever that it has been done by a Caribbean team at the Women's World Cup. And going forward, we're hoping that more achievements will be broken by the Reggae Girlz. So in a very short time, you will hear from Captain KHADIJA Bunny Shaw, CHANTELLE, SWABY, and LORNE Donaldson, who did a series of interviews and press conferences after the Colombia game earlier this week. And then later on in the show, after the 1:15 break, we'll be joined by some special guests to further break down the game and just to talk about the entire run from the Reggae Girlz, the historic achievement, and what we do moving forward. And all women. So look out for that. Remember, you can keep in touch with me on 876-997-3125. That's 876-997-3125. Tell me what you thought after that Colombia game. Were you more on the disappointed side, or were you more on the proud side, the mere fact that we were there? Just tell me everything that you're thinking about the Reggae Girlz and also the Sunshine Girls, because they finished third at the Netball World Cup in South Africa. They got that bronze medal, beating New Zealand. Were unable to make that final. Still, that final eludes them. But still a fantastic achievement for the Sunshine Girls. So you can leave all your comments about the Reggae Girlz, Sunshine Girls, and if you want to talk about anything else, 876-997-3125. Also, you're free to do so on YouTube and Facebook. The comment section is there, and you can also watch me there, YouTube and Facebook, Love 101's pages, and I am currently live there. Hello to everybody around the world. You can also listen on the Love FM app in the Google Play or Apple Store, depending on what smart device you have. You can also listen in on the internet, love101.org, or you can go on your radio, Love 101.1, all the way to 1.9, depending on where you are on the island. Some bands are clearer than the others, so ensure that you get the best signal possible. All right, so usually at the start of the show, I do my sports bits, which is the mini sports report, then go into my monologue, which I call the Danielog, where I talk about something that's on my mind. But we're going to keep the focus on the Reggae Girlz and head straight into it. So like I mentioned, unfortunately, they lost to Colombia 1-0 in the round of 16 at the FIFA Women's World Cup, but still extremely proud of them. You're going to hear from LORNE Donaldson, head coach of the team, who has guided them brilliantly. You'll also hear from CHANTELLE SWABY, who has, with her sister Alison, has created a stern defense. But first, you're going to hear from the captain, KHADIJA Bunny Shaw.
We've been solid all round, so I think we just have to look at our team performance at the end of the day and not just point fingers. Come together as a group, look at what we did. We just lapsed a little bit tonight, but we've been solid all round, so I think we just have to look at our team performance at the end of the day and not just point fingers. Come together as a group, look at what we did wrong and perfect it so that we can move forward and keep winning.
You still made history in this World Cup. What does that mean for Jamaica and for the Caribbean nations and for women's football?
Yeah, it means a lot, It shows that, if you believe and you work hard, anything is possible. And I think we come out here tonight, we held our own, and, at the end of the day, we knew it was going to be hard, but, we just did what we could, and at the end of the day, like I said, that's just football. You win some, you lose some, and, we just have to be proud of our performance and just, lift our heads up.
What's your overall experience been in this World Cup, and what will you take going forward?
Yeah, I think this World Cup doing amazing. As you can see, the gap is closing with the smaller islands and teams compared to the bigger countries. So I think this just goes to show that women's football is growing, and we gotta keep moving forward and keep pushing it, and hopefully we can get it as far as possible.
At the end of the day, if you really look back at it, the bigger picture, it's a major achievement for us as a team, as for us as a country. And I mean, I'm so gutted for the result, like you said, but I could not be more proud of the girls and just the direction that we're going from here.
And then, I mean, up against Colombia, too, I know there were moments, it was quite a cagey game at the start, but how did you guys find it out there?
I mean, I think going into it, we kind of knew that it was going to be a great matchup for us. I think we would have matched up probably the best out of the teams that we've played, and just kind of the type of style, they have quick players, we have quick players, and just kind of trying to make sure we match that. And unfortunately, I don't think we were as efficient as we usually are up top, and that was what really sucked for us. But I mean, like I said, the result was what really just killed us, but I'm just really happy about how we handled the tournament.
Well, whole tournament long, you guys have been like the Great Wall of Jamaica, especially Becky back there. Up front, what was the message, I suppose, going into this one?
Yeah, I mean, the message really was just to, get the ball up to our forwards and try to make any type of opportunities we could up there. We knew watching film kind of where they struggled, and I think kind of just we weren't really able to execute it. I mean, we weren't really able to get the ball up to the field as high as we wanted to and keep it up there. We didn't get that many corners as we would have hoped, and there's just little things like that I feel like maybe would have happened in another game. But I mean, you just got to look past that really and just try to build from that and see where we can improve.
Well, it's been a long journey where you've had to overcome a lot of obstacles. This is the second World Cup. You've already made history. Hopefully there's a couple public holidays for us back home when you get there. But just your thoughts on just this entire journey, because like I said, this is not just 4 years in the making, it's like a decade in the making.
Yeah, no, definitely. I think kind of me personally coming at the last World Cup, I had only been a part of the team for maybe a year before that. So it was difficult trying to go into that one and trying to, have such a team camaraderie when we had a lot of new players. But I think kind of you'll see, obviously, from the past 4 years, we've had a new group of players come in, some young, some just a little bit more experienced, and I think it just kind of shows how we're continuing to build year after year. And I think, especially with the Olympic qualifiers coming up, that's what we're now focused on, and just trying to work from there and definitely get a result in September.
First of all, just give Colombia credit. They were better than us tonight, and I have to, give them that credit. And just summing it up, for us, just with coming in with no games, I feel very happy for the players that they could perform at this level without getting adequate games to play. So I am very pleased with them, and you know what, they gave it everything tonight. We weren't very, very good tonight, but that's football, and so they should be proud of themselves, and I'm very proud of them.
Lorne, Jonathan Temple from the Philadelphia Inquirer. We were talking yesterday, you brought it up yourself about how things went after the 2019 tournament ended, and I know that it's a little close right now in the moment to things just ending, but what do you hope happens now and to really get this sustainable for the long term?
Yeah, and that's a good question because, again, I told you I'm in Jamaica. I mean, the 2019, nothing happened. So obviously, maybe with some help from maybe even the government, even though FIFA and the government don't really mix, but hopefully we all can come together now and try to figure something out so we don't do something podgy all the time, so we can have we have some decent young players, so we need to have a good transition going in and start preparing for the future tomorrow, start looking at stuff.
Lord, Jeff Kassouf over with the Guardian and Equalizer in U.S. Speaking of that future, a quick turnaround to another very big game for the group with another tournament, around the corner. What do you say in terms of, how to get them immediately ready after maybe a disappointment like this, and what do you hope for in that game coming up?
Yeah, but as I always say, it's a disappointment, and everybody who is not here is disappointed. Only one team's going to win. So the sun is going to come up tomorrow, so we have to be ready to go and just get on with our life. So, just again tell them, magnificent job. Nobody expected this, so let's kind of build on what we started and see what happens in the next tournament.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Tamara Griffin with The Athletic. Yesterday we were talking about a lot of the cultural similarities between the two teams in terms of how you show up on the field, the joy with which you play. I think tonight we saw another set of similarities in terms of the grit and the intensity. Did it feel like a game of margins to you? And if so, beyond the obvious of the goal itself, what do you think it was that sort of gave Colombia the edge in the end?
I just think they had a better game. I don't think nothing. I mean, it wasn't anything really tactically. I think technically they were just better than us tonight. Just in terms of the passing and don't giving the ball in bad spots. We made some bad mistakes. But I again credit them. They were ready to play. I think we were ready to play, but they were just better on a night like this.
Coach, forgive me if I've got this wrong, but looking up your contract status, your contract appears to come to an end after this coming tournament, these coming Olympic qualifiers. Would you like to sort out an extension to agree to something before that tournament starts? Do you want to stick around with this team in the long run?
Well, I mean, that's a question when we get to the end of that road. I tell you, we work in a country, sometimes it's a lot of chaos, so we got to figure that out and see what we want to do. I mean, maybe, I don't know. Maybe I have had a good run. So after the September game, then, the Olympic qualifier, I don't think anybody's going to do anything before that, knowing the way, we work in Jamaica. I don't think it's going to happen, anything going to happen before, but I think wait until after that and we see what happens.
Would you like to?
Well, that would be a discussion. If I would like to, it's my country. I think that we need to sit down and sort some stuff out, so yeah.
Question is for Lauren. My name is Candace Buckner with the Washington Post. Kind of piggybacking off his question, but for the sport in Jamaica, what do you hope that young girls take away from watching the Reggae Girlz?
Yeah, and it's something we hope go well. Currently Cedella Marley has a program in Jamaica that she's actually running, okay, and it's a very good program for young girls, and hopefully now we can get more young ladies involved in the program, and I think the girls watching this and people are up, win or lose, somebody, they get something out of it. So what I'm saying is, I hope everybody now in Jamaica can embrace women's football and just make sure that from the primary school all the way up, can say, okay, we want to do this.
Lauren, you've got a lot of players on this team who are collegians in the U.S. or unattached professionally, club-wise at the moment. How do you hope to get more of your players into full-time, better club environments to further raise the level?
Yeah, I mean, and that's a good thing because we have a lot of collegiate players, and most of these teams we play in are all full professionals, from they were 16. So we still have a lot of college players. So hopefully, we can start getting some of our players, maybe even at a younger age group, and just figuring out how they're going to play football. Because I also think education is very, very, very important. And can they play and get a college degree? And that might be the next thing that we have to look at. How can we do that? So yeah, you're right. We need to get them in an environment where they're playing professional 24/7.
Coach, maybe building off the back of that, being based here, speaking to some of the figures involved in the local A-League women competition, they've been speaking about, there's been some interest in some of your players. Do you anticipate any of your players sticking around and signing contracts here in Australia in the A-League women competition?
Yeah, I would say, it's a strong possibility. They see the environment in Australia, and they like it. If I was a player, I would be like, yeah, put my sign me. But I don't play. So hopefully some of them can stick around and start playing at that level.
Donaldson, Fernando Valecri Barros from Brazil, Estado de São Paulo Group. First of all, congratulations. Your team did a very good football, very good World Cup. But now it's time to analyze why Jamaica lose and what is the lessons that you got from this tournament. What this tournament can improve the quality of the level of the game of your team. Thank you very much.
Yeah, that's a loaded question. I think that's, I would love to answer that question, but that's one of those questions we got to sit down and just analyze what happens and how we prepare and, you know, how many games we had. I mean, our big problem coming in, we had no games, you know. We had no games, international games. So, I mean, the international games, first international game we have had in, you know, 4 or 5 months was here, okay, when they blew, or 6 months, when they blow the whistle. That was our first game. So all we did was a few camps. So I can do that by getting more games and getting players better prepared. You know, if we have games, you know, I mean, like, you know, so, and I think because they're going to change the way the Caribbean football and carnival and all that stuff, we will play some more international games. So we will use a lot of those games when they come up, the Gold Cup for the women's and all that as preparation. So that's good stuff for women.
That was head coach of the Reggae Girlz, Lorne Donaldson, speaking after the defeat to Colombia. Before that, you heard CHANTELLE, SWABY, and also KHADIJA Shaw, the Reggae Girlz. Despite going out, as you heard from KHADIJA, CHANTELLE, and Lorne, that they are very proud of what the team has done, and they don't intend to stop there. They want to build on it and, you know, hopefully become a much more powerful force when the next World Cup comes around. We head into a break. When we come back, we'll be joined by some special guests who are already with us, and we'll ensure to introduce them right after this. So stay with us right here on Sports Talk.
Rose Chromium Plus is an all-natural herbal product formulated specially for people with type 2 diabetes. An elevated sugar level in the blood will lead to renal failure, damage to the brain, and amputation of your toes or feet, damage to the heart, stroke, ECT. Cinerose Chromium Plus will reduce the level of sugar in the blood, taking it down to normal, and protect you. To get your Cinerose Chromium Plus, call Halfco Herbs and Extracts, 876-540-8871.
It's yourself, Powell, one of the fastest men in the world, and you're listening to Love 101, your family station.
Welcome back to Sports Talk here on Love 101, the family station. We are discussing the Reggae Girlz, reviewing their World Cup performance and what it means going forward. So let's bring in our special guests first. Let's start with football coach as well as analyst Kadish Fishley. Good afternoon, Kadish. All right, Kadish, I think you're muted.
Yeah, oh, sorry, I was.
No, man, that's you're fine.
Thank you for having me.
No, thank you for coming. And then let me bring in sports journalist Andreen Leslie. Good afternoon, Andreen.
Good afternoon, everyone.
All right, great. So let me start with you, Kadish. Just before we get into the overall feelings that we have about the team, in terms of that game against Colombia, is there anything specific that, you know, apart from scoring, obviously, but that the Reggae Girlz didn't do well against Colombia?
Well, I think you hit the nail on the head when you said that the only thing they didn't do was score. We created chances, we just couldn't finish. And I think that was really something we needed to do. We also needed to try and incorporate the midfield more to create some more chances, and we weren't really doing that as well. So I guess playing through the midfield some more and actually finishing our chances what we should have done that we didn't do properly.
Yeah, Andreen. I'm sure you share the same sentiment, or do you have any other thing? Do you think that Colombia were just a better team than us?
I believe they were a better team at the right time when the time was needed. I believe it was a good match. As Kadish said, I think it was just when it comes to scoring because in my opinion it was a very good match. They played well. They created many chances, but it was really to execute. So I think that's where we fell short. But as a team, I believe they did very well.
Yeah, Kadish, as a coach yourself, and as Lauren Donaldson said, they didn't have any games coming in. From your perspective, if you could sort of explain and break it down, how much, or how important is actual match practice heading into a tournament like this? Because as much as these players, play professionally and will train together, how important is match practice when you come up in these big games?
It's very important. It's they don't just play for playing its sake. It's to build team chemistry because a lot of these players play for different teams. So there's normally a few things that you would have with your club team that you won't necessarily have with your uh, international teammates. So we needed those games to get cohesiveness, chemistry, and just to work on some different things tactically. And I think it's very important, even at the high school level, we try and get practice games in before the tournament starts so that we can see what we need to work on during training and how far are we as a team.
Yeah, Andreen, speaking of that, knowing that we didn't get those practice games, how impressed were you by the fact that, we were still able to be, despite going out of the round of 16, that we were still able to be one of the best defensive teams at the tournament?
Okay, so to be honest, even though we didn't get that much games in, I can tell that in the short period of time they did build a bond, and that's the most important thing. Not only in football, but in any sport that you play, that you have that team bond. As an athlete myself and a journalist, when you talk to persons from different sport teams and you hear it's one thing to have confidence, but it's another thing to have that chemistry. You can fall back, each other's strengths and weaknesses. I believe that even though they didn't have that much games together, um, the bond that they have already helps with that confidence as a team. So I don't think it really affected them that much. But if they did get those games in, they would have been much better.
Yeah, Kadish, in terms of Khadija Bonishaw, a lot of pressure was put on her shoulders. She had an amazing season with Manchester City, and there were a lot of comments on social media and in the media in general about her performances and her body language and so forth. What did you make of her performances throughout? How she led, how she interacted with everyone? What was your overall assessment of her, knowing the, I guess, pressure that was on her heading in?
Okay, well, outside of the French game, I think she was pretty average, to be honest, in the rest of the games. And I think it's just I think it's a case of being the tallest person for the team. I think it's a little bit too much for her sometimes. Like, she is the one that we depend on to score when things are not going right. And sometimes I just don't think it works out when she puts herself in that with that pressure, when she has that pressure on her. And I think she would do better playing behind a striker. I've been saying this for years, but no one listens to a lowly high school football coach. But I think if she has someone to play off, I think we would get much more from her. And I go back to the 2019 World Cup. in Australia when we played Australia. That's how we got our goal. She dropped deep and she was able to facilitate. And I think if she had done that some more in these games, we could have gotten a goal or two from her. But I think just the pressure of being the captain, being the person that we all depend on, I think that it was to her detriment.
And on Jean, yeah, before you come in, do you almost think it's? I know that the cliche phrase, heavy is the crown, but do you think that it's almost unfair that we expect her to just be this superwoman and get these goals, bully everybody, when majority of the time we don't even have possession of the ball?
Good question. I do believe it's unfair. First and foremost, she came in. A lot of people know her to be Jamaica's all-time leading goal scorer for both sides, the men and women. So that already is a pressure. And then on top of that, you are the captain. Everybody wants you to be the one that always scores. And if we go back to the 2019 World Cup, correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't remember her scoring. You can correct me if I'm wrong.
No, yeah,
and then she didn't score again within the entire group stage, and she didn't score in the round of 16 match. I believe as a team captain, it's a lot of pressure because she's the one doing all the interviews. She's putting the team first. She has to lead by example. She has to know, okay, there's no tired days, there's no day off. She has to inspire them. For example, we see the FIFA video that's going around on TikTok and on the FIFA Instagram page where they were huddling and she was in the middle and she was just speaking to them. That's for example. She has to have a positive relationship with her coaches and teammates. Even if something does come up, she has to squash it same time. So I do believe that is something that's, it's a burden. It's a burden because, people will say, how she do so well at Manchester City, but as a captain, we expect her to always be the one scoring. I think it's a lot of pressure. It's a lot of pressure. And I personally sometimes feel for her.
Yes, I certainly do too. Kadish, before we head into our 1:30 break, in terms of Lauren Donaldson and as a coach yourself, we know a lot of the external factors were happening. How impressed were you that he was still able to, motivate the team and get them organized for the most part?
Well, as someone who's had to deal with the ineptness of the JFF, I at some point, we have to say, forget them and let's get on with the job. Let us do what we need to do to ensure that we get the result on the field. It's not easy when the persons who you are depending on for guidance, for support, they're lacking. It's not easy. And so for him to go in and do what he does, I said after the French game that if I don't care what else happens in the World Cup, Lauren Donaldson deserves to be the coach for a very long time. And with the round of 16, I guess he deserves to be the coach until he decides to retire. And so, he did a very good job, regardless of the outstanding the factors, the outside factors.
Ineptness. That's so funny. Hey, don't make JFF block me, Anyways, we have to go into a break. Andreen and Kadish will still be with us, and then we'll be joined by KHADIJA Davis, who I will properly introduce right after this. So stay with us here on Sports Talk. We have a lot more to go through. And remember our WhatsApp number, 876-997-3125. Give me your thoughts on the Reggae Girlz performance against Colombia and their overall World Cup journey and women's football going forward. So stay with us.
As
As our family grows, our home internet needs have grown too.
And now, with Flow's fiber fast internet and smart Wi-Fi coverage, we're always connected in any room at home.
With Yard on Road Plus, get 500 megabits per second of fiber fast internet, smart Wi-Fi, plus unlimited mobile on the go. All for the special offer of only $6,999 plus GCT a month. Fiber fast internet and smart Wi-Fi coverage inspired by you. Visit a Flow store today. Conditions apply.
Win over $1 million in cash and prizes in the Yummy Summer Competition. Purchase any 4 different Yummy pastries. Write your name and number on your receipt. Send in with your Yummy salesman or drop off at the nearest supermarket or Yummy agency. 28 weekly prizes, 4 winners every week, plus grand draw August 28th for a laptop. $60,000, $30,000, plus a Yummy basket and back-to-school vouchers. Grand prize, a family weekend for 4 at the Holiday Inn. It's the Yummy Summer Competition, authorized under Section 58.3 of the Betting, Gaming and Lotteries Act.
Let's get up and go.
Do you own a business or have a valuable product or service you want to share with the world? Call us now to be an exhibitor at I Love Summer, ILS, Saturday, August 26th. For more information, call the Love 101 sales team at 876-424-3552. That's 876-424-3552.
Let's get up and go. Time to explore.
Montego Bay, Love 101 is bringing I Love Summer to you for our final tour stop on Saturday, August 26th at Harmony Beach Park. Come out early. Gates open at 10 a.m. for rides, food, fun, giveaways, and vibes. Don't miss the sound clash at 5 p.m. with Colleen Beckles, Becky Blaze, and Nadine Blair, the Princess of Praise, hosted by DJ Rebirth. After that, rock with Prince Saj. Orville Sutherland. O'Shane Mays. Petra King. Papa Sad. And more. Concert tickets are only $1,000. Buy your tickets at all Fontana outlets island-wide now, or call or WhatsApp 876-432-5034. I love summer, and we know you do too. See you there.
Let's get up and go. Time to explore.
Get your tickets for I Love Summer, Harmony Beach, Montego Bay, Saturday, August 26th. Available at all Fontana locations island-wide. Only $1,000 for adults, children 12 and under $500. See you at I Love Summer, ILS Montego Bay. Get your tickets now.
It's so hot.
101.1, 101.3, 101.5, 101.7, 101.9. Love is all you need.
Hi, I'm Shelly Ann Fraser Price, and you're listening to Love FM, the family station.
It's currently 1:34 here in Jamaica. Not sure what time it is wherever you are around the world, but I truly appreciate you staying here with me inside Sports Talk. I'm going to bring back KHADIJA, Andreen, and introduce KADIJA shortly, but let me read some of your comments on 876-997-3125. That's our WhatsApp number. Remember, I'll read those on air. So Suzette says, strike of disappointment. However, I'm proud of the Reggae Girlz. Enough love and blessings. Cherry says, I'm truly grateful and proud of the Reggae Girlz and the Sunshine Girls. It's really an achievement for both teams and Jamaica. There are areas to improve, work on, and move forward. They have done their best, and it's moving forward to the future. No regrets. Credit to all the teams, players, coaches, every member of staff, and contributors. And I pray they get more games to play, contracts, and work together as a team and not dependent on one person to score. And I see Jamaican girls saying, excellent point, lady. So KADIJA and Andreen, they have a fan there. So let's bring back Kadish and Andreen, and also I don't know why I seen this purple thing right here, but bringing in sports fan and sports analyst and occasional host of Sports Talk, Kathia Davis. Good afternoon, Kathia.
Hi, Daniel. Can you hear me?
Yeah, man, I can hear you. The
I don't know where this purple thing come from. I'm not sure what happening.
I hope it's not no KC thing you're coming bringing here, you know, because I will take you off of it.
I am not. I don't know what's happening though. So
Anyway,
we'll just work with it though.
You're good. You're good. So let's get your opinion on just the entire run from the Reggae Girlz, despite going out to Colombia. What was your major feeling after the defeat?
I think the major feeling I had was one of feeling very proud. I was very proud of the girls because, as we all know, they've been through a lot, and a lot was in the media as to what was happening with them. So, you know, not getting practice games organized before the competition, and just all the other things, you know, the JFF not doing what they're supposed to do, but, you know, common assault. In spite of all of that, they did very, very well. And I'm very, very proud that they made it to the round of 16, and just, you know, a little lapse in defense for a few minutes that costed us that game against Colombia.
Yeah. Andreen, in terms of our top performers, you know, Rebecca Spencer comes to my mind as the standout for the tournament. I don't know if you agree with that, or if you have a specific player that you thought was maybe the MVP for the Reggae Girlz throughout the World Cup.
Wow. I was actually thinking about this because I figured you would ask. And many players actually came to my mind, because if we do take a look at how our World Cup, you know, journey went for 2023, would realize if you check the group stage, we were player of the match for all three matches, because we had Denisha Blackwood being player of the match for France versus Jamaica, Alice SWABY, when she had to be the captain in that match that Bunny wasn't in, she was player of the match. Rebecca Spencer, goalkeeper, player of the match. In my opinion, player of the tournament, the SWABY sisters, both of them, Alison and Chantelle, amazing. Denisha, amazing. Rebecca, amazing. But I think a lot of people fail to talk about Drew Spence. You would see how much she came out in that Colombia match. I don't know. I don't know. I have amazing players. Like, Jamaica have some amazing players. Can I say all of them? Because
I'm sure you can.
They were magnificent. They were Drew, Denisha, Rebecca, Alison, amazing players. Like, they really held Team Jamaica on their backs. They really did that.
Yeah, if Andreen is having an award show, everybody leaving with something. Kadish, what about you?
All right, so it's between three defenders for me. It's Tiffany Wilshire, Alison SWABY, Chantelle SWABY. Now, before the round of 16 game with Colombia, Chantelle SWABY has won 100% of our aerial duels, and Alison SWABY has won 60%. Those are very good numbers. Tiffany Wilshire has time and time again repelled the attack coming down, well, would be the opponent's left, but her right side. She was a standout. But if I had to choose somebody, it would be Chantelle SWABY. Chantelle SWABY, I don't think has made one mistake in all four of our games. I cannot think of one mistake that Chantelle SWABY has made. I can think of a few mistakes that Alison has made, but 100% Chantelle SWABY, my player of the tournament. Yeah. And I'm a Drew Spence fan. So I'm a big Drew Spence fan. So for me to say that, I was very impressed with Chantelle SWABY.
Is it because Drew Spence plays for Chelsea, or is just the Reggae Girlz?
Because she used to play for Chelsea.
Okay, lovely. Jamaican girl on YouTube says, "Wheelchair for me, steady and consistent. Drew had a couple of lapses during the tournament, like every midfielder does." Kathia, what about your player of the tournament or players of the tournament?
All right. So for me, it's between Chantel SWABY and Spencer. Or Drew Spence. I think okay. For consistency for all the games, I have to give it to Chantel SWABY because, as Kadish rightly said, I've yet to see Chantel SWABY put one foot wrong or not miss a header that comes to her or any attacker going around her. I've not seen that from her at all throughout the tournament. So I would have to give her my Jamaican player of the tournament. Yeah, Chantel SWABY it is.
All right. Andreen, you you basically almost listed the entire squad. Knowing our performance after the 2019 World Cup, we did a lot of recruiting because that a lot of that squad was, I would say, a lot of our players were playing in America at the time. We've done a lot of recruitment, knowing our performances and what we've done at this World Cup. Do you think that we continue going down that route, or do you think that we should stick with what we have?
I think we should stick with what we have. Don't get me wrong, recruitment is something that's it's always good, but when you add a new person into a dynamic, that's a whole new getting to know and bonding. I feel right now the team adding a new 1 and 2, yes, and then they don't really get that much match practice because they're basically all over the globe. Who's not in England is in the US. So I think that the squad that we have now needs more chemistry and more bonding, and I think building with what they have right now and bettering everyone together will do the team spectacular.
Yeah, Kadish, as a coach, do you stick with what you have, or if there are better players available, you bring them in?
I will stick with what I have for now. At the end of the day, time waits for no man, no woman, no child. So, a lot of these players are getting older. I think Alison, Chantelle, they have another World Cup in them. Bonnie maybe. Drew, I don't think she'll get the chance to play in another World Cup. I think she's about 30, 31 now. So at this point in time, what I would do, and I hope someone from the JFF is listening, is to identify the replacements for these key players. And then when we have camps or international fixtures where we don't really have a lot of restriction on the number of players we can bring in the squad, we take them in and we try and, gel them in a little by little. But, it's the JFF, so that might not happen.
Hey, Kadish, I have to check my Instagram after this, make sure I can go on JFF page. Kathy, from a fan's perspective, I feel like a lot of fans were able to connect with the girls more this time around. Going off that premise, are you more comfortable with sticking with the team right now, as Andreen and Kadish has said?
Definitely, yes, sticking with the team. As Kadish should have mentioned, persons like Drew and those who are going late 20s, I don't think they'll be in the next World Cup. I don't think they'll be a part of the next World Cup. So we have to find the replacement players, requisite players. However, I really think that the JFF has to find a way to get this team to play together more. We have to find a way. I don't know how they're going to do it. I don't know the powers that be. JFF, if you're listening, get these set of players that we have to play together more. That's the only way that this team is going to progress up the standing, and that's the only way that we'll be able to do better as a team overall. And then having created a chemistry for the team, then whomever comes in will just fall into place.
Yeah, say I want to go National Stadium, right? I don't want to be blacklisted because I have 3 women here criticizing the JFF. But Andre, let me give you your chance to do so. We've heard a lot of the stories. The Reggae Girlz themselves have put out several statements about not getting that support from the federation, and they've constantly promised to do better, and we've yet to see that. What major thing does the JFF, apart from getting games, obviously, but do you think that there's a major thing that they can tweak, leadership wise, technical wise, to ensure that these issues don't come up anymore?
I have to watch what I say, The JFF needs to work on communication, internal communication. Let me start there.
External too, but internal for sure.
No,
Yeah.
I say internal more because if you read what the Reggae Girlz all posted, couple months ago on their thing on Instagram, you would see that it's really communication that's the problem with them. So I would say internal more. But when you look at all the sports associations of Jamaica, you realize that this is a country problem. It's not just JFF. So I don't know particularly what I would say to this question. I would hand over to Kathy and Kadish because I don't want to get myself in trouble. But I would say internal communication. I feel once internal communication is there, it automatically will have external communication. You guys can add on?
Yeah. Well, I know that Kadish has very strong views about the JFF and has had her fair share of dealings with them, as she even mentioned. With that said, are you optimistic that things will change? And I know the answer already, but just for the sake of asking, hey, what are you optimistic any at all that the JFF will help our Reggae Girlz reach where they need to?
Okay. Let me start off by saying that I was optimistic when we had the change in leadership. I was like, okay, it seems like somebody who will do the right thing and we'll get the support that we needed. Unfortunately, it's the same thing. And I can't say what I really want to say because, libel laws and all of that. But we need people in the JFF who cares about football, not just women's football in general, because this is not something that is special to the women's team. Every football team in Jamaica has had a problem with the JFF. You had the under 14 boys who were supposed to go, under 14, under 15, who were supposed to go to a European country, and they were stranded in an airport, and their parents were called and told to pick them up. Some of these players are from the United States, are from overseas, and they're calling parents to come and pick up kids when they were supposed to be on their way to Europe. I am not optimistic, but I hope that someday we will get somebody in the JFF who actually loves the game and actually wants to see the game grow. If we don't have those people in, it is never going to grow.
I thank God this isn't like a podcast because my feels would anyways, let's try to end on a positive note. So let's start with you, Kathia. We head into the Olympic playoff in September against Canada. Are you, I don't use about the same word, but are you optimistic that we will create more history and get to Paris next year?
I'm definitely optimistic that we will get to Paris next year. Definitely optimistic. And if the girls play anywhere close to how they played in the World Cup, we'll definitely have a very, very good chance. But again, I will say the team needs practice games. So, the powers that be, please, please give the team a chance. Give them a fighting chance, I beg. Give them a chance.
Yeah, Andreen, you?
Well, to be the first Caribbean team to reach the round of 16, I'm very much optimistic. I believe that they can do it. It's just for them to work together, more practice, more team building, more bonding, and just for them to listen to their coach. Because I've seen where he's a good coach in my opinion. So I do believe they can make it to the Olympics next year.
And to the realist Kadish.
I think it's possible. It's the battle of whose federation is the most inept right now, because Canada is just as bad as the JFF right now. But I think we can do it. In regards to Kathia's point, is just unfortunate that this is coming in the first international window for women. So I don't think we'll be able to get much games in, but they get a good holiday. We come in and we get ready for this game, and hope. I think we can. Canada is in a spot right now where they're not transitioning well from their older stars, so I think they're there for the taking. And I would like to implore Jamaica, please, on September 26th, make your way to whatever stadium it is that we're going to be playing into this game. Let us show the JFF that the women's team has a lot of fans. Jamaica, let's come out and support our women, please.
The Reggae Girlz came back yesterday and nobody out the airport. But anyways, hoping that September we will see a full stadium. But like Kadish, Daniel is not optimistic. But hey, God can make a way. Kadish, Andreen, Kathy, thank you so much for your time. And hopefully when September comes around and they make it, God's willing, that we'll be able to talk again.
Thank you.
All right.
Thank you for
Thanks, Danielle.
All right, that was Kadish Fishley, football coach and analyst, Andreen, sports journalist, and Kathia Davis, in our purple, which I wish you guys could see because it looks like an actual purple light. Around Champs time, you just get start see a bag of KC people when them doing Zoom. The light just getting purple and then we make up some excuse. We actually have to take a very quick break because we do have some ads to play and then we will be back.
All-American Institute of Medical Sciences, AIMS, a top-ranking medical school, 66 High Street, Black River, St. Elizabeth. Programs on offer include Associate Degree in Health Sciences, Bachelor of Science in Optometry, and the Doctor of Medicine. Low student-to-faculty ratio, low tuition costs with up to 40% scholarships for Jamaica Nationals, USMLE courses, www.aims.edu.jl, 876-634-4068. AIMS, medical education par excellence. Still accepting applications for September 2023.
My Mega With so much to do in one location, make Mega Mart your one-stop shop. Pick up your groceries and houseware needs, grab a bite and pay some bills, fill your prescriptions and see the beauty products in our pharmacy, all in one amazing location. My Mega Mart, the best value by far. My Mega Mart, the best value by far.
confusion. Rock and play some of their favorite hits from Papa San, Patrick K, Savan, and more. Okay, we're coming. But while you wait, this Saturday you can experience what we have on our lineup for August 26th. Don't you just
You're listening to Love 101 FM, the family station.
Thank you for staying with us inside Sports Talk on Love 101. We have less than 5 minutes to go. A very great discussion there with Andreen, Kadish, and KHADIJA. Jamaican girl, let me just read some of your comments. We should try to invest in local players. Why would local players try if they know they will have no chance of making it on the big stage? We need to invest in local players. The JFF got some money. Hopefully we won't hear that they are still in the red. Invest in the latest program, so we will have options. Trust me, them still going to be in the red no matter how much money them get. It just seems to be a consistent issue. Faye Jameson says you all need to be honest in your comments. If JFF needs to communicate more, tell them. Faye, I don't know if you've been following the sport, but we've been telling the JFF that for the last 2 decades. And nothing has changed, which is why not only the teams but the fans are frustrated with them as well. So you can write them a long email. Maybe they will listen to you more than they have with us. Who knows? We did mention that we would highlight the Sunshine Girls. We were supposed to get a special feature in, but had some technical difficulties. But as you should know by now, they got the bronze medal at the Netball World Cup, beating New Zealand 52-45. Beating New Zealand twice in one tournament is pretty impressive. Janelle Fowler led the way, and she finished as our leading goal scorer. We lost in the semifinals 54-57 to Australia. It was truly a ding-dong battle, but we were unable to just hold on to the ball, keep our composure, because we had a real shot at making that final, because in the final, Australia ending up blowing England out of the water, winning 61-45. So I guess if you say, what do you call it, the law of averages, knowing that Australia beat us and Australia beat England, there's the school of thought that Jamaica would have beaten England and got the gold. But that's not how sports work. It's played on the day, but still proud of the Sunshine Girls for their achievements, and hopefully going forward they will continue to be competitive, no matter who the coach is, because there are reports that Connie Francis may step down very shortly, and that they're in the process of looking for a new coach. So hoping that is not necessarily the case, but even if it is, that the consistency continues and that the team will finally get that elusive gold medal, whichever competition, whether it's a Fast Five, the World Cup, Commonwealth Games, whatever that they play, that the gold medal drought will end. But that's all the time that we have today here inside Sports Talk. Thank you to everyone who participated, to our special guests, everyone who left comments, and for those who just listened in and enjoyed. I truly appreciate your company. Sports Talk happens every Saturday afternoon right here on Love 101 from 1 to 2 p.m. But until then, please stay safe, enjoy your weekend, and as always, watch some sports.